Hello and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you like what you see and want to hear more. So, over the weekend I was listening to a interview that was done with Robert Curtis, the COO of the NARL. He went through a few of the subjects that you guys have been putting on the internet in regards to the North American Rugby League, and some subjects. That was with Chasing Ruse podcast, so if you want the full podcast, go and follow them on Twitter at this, and then the podcast will be there for you to all click on and listen to the full hour that was involved in it. I'm going to cover some of the points in this video, but there is a lot more to go through, including Robert Curtis' background, some more information about the makeup of the actual league, what's his hopes and dreams are for the future of the league as well. So I'm going to cover some bullet points, but please remember to go and listen to their podcast, because they deserve everything, because they did all that hard work. So we begin with Robert Curtis explaining that the CEO of the entire league is Ricky Wilby. If you don't know who Ricky Wilby is, I know that he was part of the New York City Rugby League that was going to apply to go over into the UK League One to present Rugby League to the New York audience. On the back of Toronto Wolfpack. So, as there have been a few changes in regards to the New York side, Ricky Wilby has become the CEO of a model to produce a league over in the United States of America and Canada. So, talking about that, it has been an ongoing discussion for 4 to 5 years. But was eventually pushed forward because Toronto Wolfpack's reapplication to the Super League was denied, and the new group came along. The new group for the Toronto Wolfpack are a completely different entity to those that were going to run the New York City Rugby League, and also a completely different entity that is running the NARL. From what I can tell about the NARL, their legacy is to commit to the league. It is mostly the people that are who were running the New York City Rugby League project, and was born out of their love for the game, and they have put their own finances at their own personal risk to getting this league up and running. They are really looking to build a legacy involved in that, and they are doing that through funds, first of all. So grants have gone out to each team as long as they meet certain criteria, and they will be coming up with that minimum criteria and the grants for the first few seasons. So one of the things that they're going to look at is social media growth, people that are engaging with each team, where they are engaging, and also the statistics around that. I know some of the teams have already got 2,000, 4,000. I'm sure that they want to go over 10, and I'm sure that will get through once a couple of the ideas will get through. Another thing that they're looking into is youth developments with outreach to all juniors, whether they are in school and camps, rugby league youth training weekends as well. They had a conversation on the podcast about a couple of teams that were playing rugby league, were playing in the USARL, but went by the wayside because their players aged out. They got too old and they hadn't got any infrastructure in place to bring new players in. So they were looking not to have that model and looking to get more teams involved. You can listen to them about their thoughts and theories around the expansion into junior and women's rugby league on the podcast. is a very good listen for that part. A couple more things that they will go into look at further down the line with regards to the grants and the criteria involved in that are fan engagement, how many fans have been purchasing merchandise and things like that, ticket sales as well once they go back after COVID into their own respective plots and plans and bases. There's some interesting information about the Western Conference as well that was on the podcast, so you'll be able to find out how they're planning from this joint area base to going back to their regular basis, and the ownership involved in those as well is also good to listen to. Even though there are grants available to each team can invest their own money into the leagues, but as long as they don't breach salary cap rules. Speaking of the salary cap, it's initially 200,000 for this season. That is a very good figure to start off with, especially with the rules in regards to players. I found out a little bit about the players as well, what the rules are involved in that. So, first of all, because they've been looking into the Jamaican side, Jamaica Rugby League side, because it's a hotbed at the moment and they have their own league and everything like that, they don't want to step on anyone's toes anywhere that's playing rugby league at the moment. So they've exempt Jamaican players from their overseas quota. That is big news for not only Jamaica's rugby league, but their international side. Because if there are more Jamaican players playing rugby league, or Jamaican heritage players playing rugby league in America, they can scout them more easier for their division. They've got some that are going into the World Cup squad, which should be announced end of August, maybe September. That's when they all seem to do it anyhow. It's a little while off, but I'm hoping that they do get some from their leagues to go over to the UK to play in the Rugby League World Cup. There is also a rule that there is a maximum of 5 non-US and Canadian based internationals to be involved. So they are looking heavily into growing the squad organically from their own players, their own bases. So that is very, very good starting points to establish those grassroots, and that's one of the criteria that they are looking for, so that people can keep into the grounds. And Cleveland over the weekend have actually signed 14 players from their local areas. I'm hoping more information comes out for them, so that I can bring you all that, a bit more of a profile for each player, what their heritage are. Some that we already know of, for instance, Jonathan Torres did get a contract and signed up, and he was involved in the signing day that they've shown on their social media platforms. Welcome to the league, boys. Good luck to you, and also welcome to the RL family. Hopefully I'll be talking about you more in the future. So on to the games themselves. What the NARL are going to follow are the Rugby League international rules, with a couple of tweaks that are going to be released in the future in regards to that. If you want more about the actual tweaks, the rules that are going to be in place, they're suggested just a little bit here. So you'll be able to find out what those rules are, what the tweaks are, and they coincide with the Rugby League World Cup. So that's what the suggested was about, the Rugby League World Cup, but it's also the international rules which the USRL are going to be involved in. For officials, they are all going to be US based, and also presiding. There may be ex-referees that are moved over there from anywhere in the world, but they are going to be US based. they are going to employ a head of rugby league referees in the NARL in the coming week. That was one of the items that were coming through from Robert Curtis. He didn't go into extent because the appointment hasn't been done yet, but the rules will be clarified, probably announced on their website, the narugbyleague.com website, so that they can tell you about what's going on and which rules they're going to follow. One of the major things that they have been very, very proactive about is the media coverage. They know they're getting a lot of media coverage when it comes to UK and Australia, New Zealand, anywhere else that plays rugby league, media coverage, so they're very, very happy about that. But they know that they're not getting any real attention in America. For instance, Chasing Ruse had a conversation with an American rugby union podcast who didn't know anything about the North American Rugby League. It seemed a bit alien to them. And even with the West Coast teams, West Coast of America, where they were based, they didn't have any sort of idea that the North American Rugby League was coming. They've perked up about it because they found out a few of the players are going from there, well, are going to be dual registered playing league and union, but that's a status of what's going on with American Rugby League at this point. So what the North American Rugby League have done, have employed a media and PR company, which they don't mention who it is, that are going to be really pushing and consulting the North American Rugby League as it comes up to the 19th of June. So they've been very, very proactive, and as well as Sportsflick coming along, showing all the games, they're looking at two more broadcasters who have shown interest, and they're hoping to get them on board once the deal can be thrashed out. So going back to the Wolfpack situation, after their refusal of entry to the Super League, the Wolfpack actually approached the NARL once they found out it was going to happen. And they weren't the only ones to be approached as well. They didn't go into any specific names, but there are 13 cities looking to get on board. 13 cities more to get this professional rugby league up and running. I think that's because of the grants and the criteria and the TV's coverage that they're going to have. So I'm very, very happy that there's been interest at city level. I'm hoping for more coverage from media outlets once this PR company comes involved. But they've also said that they went to other teams who declined to get on board. I think that was more to do with being a part of another league and the finances involved might not be suited for them, or they're just happy with the format that they're running at this moment in time. Like they said, they don't want to step on anyone's toes. They've been welcomed by most of the leagues, as we've already covered. The USARL are a bit marmite with them. Like it, don't like it. But it's a positive that there is interest, and if it's still around in a couple of years' time, which Robert Curtis goes into a lot to what he wants in a time period of up to 10 years. He wants it sooner, but can't be all greedy. But good to have big thinking. I'm looking at my notes here, and one of the things that they do want to do so that it's parity, because they know in 2022 the East Coast East Coast is going to have 8 teams in it, with Toronto and Ottawa joining the Eastern Conference, while the West Coast will have 6. So they are not looking into the American side yet. They're looking back in Canada. They're looking at a Central and a Western Coast Canadian team, so that there is 4 in Canada, and then the other 12 are American, just for these conferences. As I mentioned, 13 of us cities have shown interest to join the league, so it's all positive. So yeah, very, very interesting podcast. Remember the name, Chasing Ruse. They are the ones that have done that, so thank you very much for doing that, and I hope you guys all go and listen to them, because it is a very, very good listen. I have only covered about 1/10 of what they want to go through on that on what the leagues and the podcast have covered during the interview. Go and listen to them, and I'm sure you'll enjoy everything that you heard. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also remember the Chase to 100 is still ongoing. I'm still waiting for 100 subscribers, so that 10 of you guys can get the Hell Donors merchandise. It's waiting for you. It's all packed up, ready. All it needs is an address to be sent to. 100 subscribers. Share the video worldwide. We want to grow this sport, and people like yourself being active and sharing every little bit of information about the rugby league, whether it's North America, whether it's NARL, whether it's PDRL, whether it's the women's game. We need you. Anyway, I will see you in the next video, and take care.